How's it going, my evil residents? Today we are going to take a look at every single basic enemy in Resident Evil 3 Remake. We're going to rank them from worst to best, mostly based on how much fun I think they are to fight. I'm not mainly ranking them off of difficulty, however, if I think an enemy is too difficult or is not designed super well, that is going to affect where I rank it, obviously, because those things affect my opinion on stuff. That's how opinions work. Yeah, this is going to be a mostly subjective list. I'm by no means a game designer. I'm not going to rank these enemies by how well they're objectively designed. I don't feel qualified to do that. So if that's what you're looking for this list, maybe drop a like and then watch something else. But stick around if you would like to hear my opinion on the enemies of this game, or if you would like to maybe debate about it a little bit in the comments with me or other commenters. I do read every comment. So if you comment your list of which enemies you like down below, I will read it. If I have anything to say about it, I will reply. Or if you have any thoughts about my list, feel free to share. But yeah, I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into the video. In last place, we have the Drain Deimos from the power section. I cannot stand these at all. They're annoying. They're inconsistent. They're just frustrating to fight. On top of them violating Jill and forcing me to watch, I don't want to see that. On top of that, that alone puts them at the bottom of the list. But on top of that, their movements are very inconsistent. Their spawns are so weird. Like, sometimes they spawn consistently, but then other times I'll play it and they just won't spawn there. Or like 6 of them will spawn at one time, but like none will spawn in another spot. Their attacks are inconsistent. Sometimes when you're interacting with the switch, they won't attack you. Sometimes they will. Sometimes they spawn on you while you're flicking the switch. Sometimes they don't. It's just weird and it's frustrating, and I don't really understand how this enemy is supposed to work. It kind of feels to me like they're glitched or something. I don't know. I don't like them. They're not fun to fight because of how inconsistent and frustrating they are. They are easy to dodge though. I will give you that. Once you learn how to dodge them, they are very simple to dodge, and you can breeze through this section in like a minute. But considering the only options for these enemies are they're complete pushovers or they're not fun to fight because they're so frustrating, I think that's just kind of a badly designed enemy. I think these enemies, the versions in the remake are kind of a mix of two different enemies from the original. But I do think both of those enemies in the original were better designed than these enemies are. So, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of them. I'm not going to compare this game to the original too much in this video because everyone's doing that. Everyone's doing that. I'm just going to rank the game based on its own merits. You've heard enough complaints about RE3 Remake. I don't need to add to the pile. Drain Deimos end up in 8th place. In 7th place, we have the NE Alpha Parasite enemies. These are when the claw guys with like the gummy lips that eat your head off. It's when those guys mount on top of the zombie and they have like the tentacle attacks. That's what those are called, by the way. At least that's what they're called in the model viewers, so that's what I'm calling them. The NE Alpha Parasite is the thing that Nemesis has, and he creates these basically. Anyways, these enemies are weird to fight. They're basically just more bullet spongy zombies with ranged attacks. I could see these working really well, but they're too bullet spongy. In a game that showers you with ammo, especially on the middle to lower difficulties, this game throws ammo at you. You use 5 handgun bullets, it gives you 60 more. Just, this game is balanced insane. To balancing in this game is insane. Even with that, it still feels like I'm wasting ammo on these guys all the time. It takes like 50 handgun bullets to kill one of these. And I know you're supposed to use the shotgun and the grenade launcher and stuff, but one, I don't want to waste a grenade launcher round on a regular freaking zombie that just has like a tentacle attack. They're not quite dangerous enough to warrant the high power weaponry, but they make them so durable that you're just wasting your time if you don't use the high power weaponry on them. And I think that's kind of weird. I think they should have made them either a little more dangerous or a little weaker, or maybe a mix of both. And I think they would be perfect. Like, when you're playing on higher difficulties, these enemies are a lot better. But considering on like assisted to hardcore, they're just kind of meh. They're just fine. I don't really care about these. But on Nightmare and Inferno, I do like these enemies. I will say that these enemies are fun to fight on those difficulties because they kind of strike that balance I mentioned earlier where their damage matches their durability. So I think these enemies are all right. They end up in 7th place. In 6th place, we have the Hunter Gamma. These guys aren't terrible. They're pretty easy to take out. However, their grab range for when they eat you and one hit you, by the way, on any difficulty, which is totally not frustrating at all, the range on it is really inconsistent. And their stun, if you're shooting them with the shotgun, is also super inconsistent. It was very clear they designed these enemies to be used with the grenade launcher, because they give you the grenade launcher right before encountering them, and then you don't need the grenade launcher for a while. And it's like, really? It's just very linear game design. It's like, it makes the grenade launcher feel more like a key item than an actual weapon, because it's like, here's the grenade launcher for the Hunter Gammas. Whenever I go through this area, I always use the shotgun instead of the grenade launcher to save grenade launcher ammo for later, so I can like breeze through the nest section with like zero problems, and I can use the grenade launcher in the hospital just to clear out any enemies I didn't kill as Carlos if I forgot any. And with that, if you're fighting these enemies with anything but the grenade launcher, you're in for a rough time, my friend. You're in for a boring, tedious time, because it takes like 6 shotgun shells on standard to kill them, and you have to wait for their mouth to open. Otherwise, they don't do jack shit. And yes, you can dodge these enemies, but the dodge timing on them, because they don't have any sort of tell, you just have to like know from positioning on this enemy with very inconsistent positioning when to dodge. So it's just not even worth dodging them, especially since if you don't dodge them properly, you just die. Whereas with other enemies, you take some damage. No, these enemies, you fail to dodge them, they just eat you. So I don't want any part of that. I never dodge them. It's not worth it. I just use the shotgun shells, waste my time, or if I'm feeling speedy, I'll use a grenade launcher. But yeah, these guys are just very inconsistent. I respect having a one-hit kill enemy, but the way they're implemented into the game is not very engaging, and I wish their dodge giveaway was a little bit clearer. Otherwise, yeah, these enemies are mostly fine. They go in 6th place. In 5th place, we have the Cerberus. The only reason the Cerberus aren't higher is because they are a pushover in this game. Every time the game sends Cerberus after you in this game, they either put an electrical box or they give you so much time to shoot them when they're far away that it's like, why? They have low health in this game. This is a low health enemy in the game, unlike in like old top-down Resident Evil games where the Cerberus had like just as much health as the zombies. No, they're like a low health enemy in this game, and I don't really understand that. I think that makes them not scary or remotely dangerous, especially when they're so easy to juke, and on top of that, they give you tools to dispatch them with the shock boxes almost instantly. So it's like, why? What's the point? Why throw these in here? Just for like a little bit of variety? But then I get rid of them in like 1 second, and I just feel bad for killing a dog. So like, what's the point here? What was the point of adding them? They're not a badly designed enemy. They just don't use them very well in the game, at least in my opinion. If anyone else disagrees with any of this stuff, totally fine. Let me know in the comments. I want to hear more opinions on the enemies, because I feel like I have kind of a negative slant on the enemies in this game, but I also feel like they're not as bad as I think they are. I think it's just my feelings on the game reflecting on the enemy design. As someone that likes this game, the enemy design in it is not the best. I mainly like this game for the story and stuff, but even then, that's getting into remake comparison territory. I'm just gonna skip that. Regardless, Cerberus are in 5th place. In 4th place, we have the Licker. The humble, beautiful, amazing, iconic Licker. I love Lickers so freaking much. Lickers are not higher because unless you're playing on Nightmare, which I think Nightmare has Lickers in other places. I could be wrong about that. I haven't played Nightmare / Inferno in like 2 years. But on every other difficulty, there's only 1 Licker in the whole game. Why would you do that? I know it's in the RPD. The Licker was in the RPD. But then it makes like a story issue of like, if the Licker in the RPD was killed by Carlos, how is the Licker back later when Leon fights the Licker in the RPD? But then if Leon fights the Licker in the RPD, how does Claire fight the Licker in the RPD? But then if Carlos killed the Licker died like 3 times. So the Licker's just immortal? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Either way, very fun enemy. They're much easier in this game, considering whenever you encounter them, you literally have an assault rifle in your back pocket. And I think the game gives you a grenade specifically to deal with the Licker in the RPD. I forget exactly where the grenade is, but you get it like right before fighting the liquor, and it's so funny. The game is just like, yeah, we know you probably don't want to deal with the liquor right now, so yeah, here's a frag grenade. It's like, okay, buddy. Okay, we get it. We get it. You want me to breeze through this game as fast as possible. I get it. I just think they were wasted. And the fact that they were kind of wasted in the game is why they're this low. If there was literally like 2 more liquors in the game, top 2 enemy. Easy. Like that section later where you're stuck in that room with the tyrants and the hunters. I really think it would be cool if instead of having tyrants on one side, as cool as it is to see tyrants in the RE engine, replace them with liquors and have that room be hunters and liquors. And then you have to fight both of them. Oh, I think that would be freaking awesome. That would be so cool. Any Resident Evil modders, if you're looking for enemy remixes, there's a free idea. Feel free to take that. I don't want any credit. Just do it. It sounds awesome. Yeah, liquor goes in 4th place. In 3rd place, we have the Paleheads. The Paleheads exist only to waste your ammo. That is their entire purpose, and I kind of like that. I know I said earlier that the Alpha Parasite wasting your ammo but being kind of a pushover was lame, but for some reason with the Paleheads it works because they're really hard to knock down and they just eat up so much ammo or force you to use a high caliber weapon that I just like it. I don't know why. It's the only remotely interesting thing about the Nest Lab, which I think bumps their spot a little bit. Otherwise, it's like you're just fighting hunters, which I fought as Carlos, and Carlos can punch them in the face, so it was more fun. I don't know. I just think they worked really well in the super narrow Nest Labs, and especially that section where you have to put in the 3 fuses to go up the elevator. I know I just described like 5 Resident Evil scenarios by saying that, but you know the section I'm talking about where Nikolai is watching you just like, I see you through the window. In that section specifically, I think the Paleheads really shine, especially that first one where you're waiting for the elevator to come down. He's blocking the elevator. It's like, dude, get out of my way. Or that intersection where you go in and there's a bunch of those like gray panels and you can either go up the stairs or go the other way to get both of the vaccine parts. There's one of the Paleheads comes out of the wall on your way back down the stairs just to block you and be an asshole. And I think it's just, they're just placed so well in such perfect spots to be such a good nuisance to the point where they're not overly irritating. But if you're not managing your ammo or you spent too much ammo earlier, you're gonna have a bad time. And I really like that. It balances out the game showering you with ammo before every boss fight. So yeah, Paleheads surprisingly go in 3rd place. I think they're a very fun enemy. In 2nd place, we have the classic zombie. I don't think I need to talk too much about the zombies in this game, so I'm mostly just going to talk about engaging with them with the dodge mechanic. I think it's really cool that you can just like dodge past them completely. It does not work with the design language of the game giving you an ass ton, a metric ass ton of ammo. It's like, yeah, you can dodge zombies, but also you have way more ammo than you would ever have in Resident Evil 2 in order to deal with those zombies. It's like, why? Why? I don't understand. By the time I finish this game, I always have like 40 grenade launcher rounds just sitting in my pocket. It's like, I don't know. They could have beefed up the enemies in this game. The game ammo balancing is like okay on Nightmare, but even then they give you a lot of ammo. So yeah, while the zombies are fun in this game, I do think it was a weird decision to give you a dodge mechanic while also bumping up the ammo counts on basically everything. I think they expected you to engage with Nemesis a little more, but everyone just runs away from him. It's a waste. Just throw a grenade at him if you want the extended mag. Just throw a grenade at him. So yeah, I would be wasting your time if I talked any more about the zombies. Everyone knows they're freaking zombies. They're awesome. It's the whole point of the game. They go in 2nd place. In 1st place, we have the Hunter Betas. These are the classic Hunters, redesigned in the RE engine, looking better than they ever have. I will die on the hill. This is the best hunt. I'm saying I will die on the hill like that's an unpopular opinion. I think literally everyone thinks that. I'm such an idiot. Hunters are so awesome in this game. They're so fun to fight. They're so zippy and fast without being like frustrating or just not working with the gameplay. They really translated how frustrating they were in a top-down setting to a third-person camera perspective without betraying the design language of the enemy. And I fucking love that. If there's one thing that I'm thankful for Resident Evil 3 Remake, it's the hunters. Like, they gotta find another use for these guys somewhere. I don't care where. Just find a freaking place for them. Just bring it back in RE9. You can just port the enemy over, make them look more like nuclear or something, or like damaged by Raccoon City. I don't care. Just bring it back because they're so fun, and only having them in one RE Engine game is an absolute crime. They're so fun. They're engaging to fight with the dodge mechanic. If you haven't fought a hunter, melee only, you have not felt true adrenaline in your life. So fun. So freaking fun. If you haven't punched a hunter as Carlos, you're not living. It's some of the greatest fun you can have. They're not total bullet sponges to the point where you're going to be sitting there all day. They really test your aim and your positioning. If you don't have the dodge mechanic down, you will probably die. You have to know it, at least in some capacity. Obviously, you can nuke them with grenades, but you can do that with everything in this game. Grenades are overpowered as hell. And yeah, hunters are just great. I really want to see them come back in some capacity. Literally any capacity. I don't care if it doesn't make sense for the story. Just add them back. Please, Capcom, please. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, drop a like. If you disliked it, feel free to dislike it, but let me know why in the comments. Feel free to leave your list in the comments. I want to see what you think of all the enemies in this game. I didn't include Nemesis because he's more of a boss, even though he's like a roaming enemy. I talked about him in the bosses ranked and stalkers ranked videos that I did. Go check those out if you are interested. I do have channel memberships on the channel if you'd like to support me more directly than any of the free options available, such as viewing, liking, commenting, etc. I appreciate all of those. I just have the membership option there as a way to kind of offset working less at my real job to make this channel. It just makes it a little more worth my time, if that makes sense. Tons of perks on there. Feel free to check them out. And speaking of which, shout out to all my members. Thank you so much to my nefarious residents, Max the Noodle, Lord Porkshire, Casual Mode, Mal Plays, Heavy Morals, Nicholas Linsman, Freak Productions, Angel Dust 141, Jordan Marshall, Noah Yates, Robin Volmuller, Casper Jones, Conjured Lion, Andrew Keeley, and Stoop Kid. And a super mega extra special shout out to my malevolent residents, Dee Teepus TTV, Aircrom Cromer, Rosemary, and Tim Just Me Really. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, stay evil, my residents.